taking effect here. So that's all for the law of indices. So we'll move on to the next topic, which we have, which is a decimal, multiplication of decimals, addition of decimals, and subtraction of decimals. So let's move on to multiplication of decimals. When you have a number like so, you have something like this. Let's say 6.25 times 1.5. okay, this is decimal point, this is decimal point. This is similar to saying or writing 625 over 100 times 1/5, that's 15 over 10. okay, the trick here is once you have 625, okay, and there's a decimal point here, you rule a line, then under the decimal point you write 1. Every other number after the decimal point represented with 0 under the line. Okay, so if you have 3, 7, 8, 9, all of them will have zeros under them. Okay, so this is how to rework a decimal to a fraction. So now there are several ways to solve this problem. Let me use long multiplication method to solve this problem. In using long multiplication method to solve this problem, you have to count how many. You can just go straight by just doing 625 times 1/5. So at the initial stage, you ignore where the decimal points are. Okay, you can ignore them. 5 times 5 is 25. You write 5, carry 2. 5 times 2 is 10. Add it to the 2 that you carried, you get 12. So you write 2, carry 1. 5 times 6 is 30, plus the one you carried gives you 31. 1 times 5 is 5. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 6 is 6. Then you put your addition sign, you add up everything. There is an invisible 0 here. So you do 5 plus nothing is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. 2 plus 1 is 3. 6 plus 3 is 9. Okay, so you're through with the long multiplication. So now you can now go back and put the dots where they are supposed to be. So now you get to count the number of decimal places back to a whole number, okay, such that you do 1, 2, okay, then 1. So you have here, you have 2 decimal places, okay, and here you have 1 decimal place. So altogether you have 3 decimal places. So you come to the answer, you start from the right and you count 1, 2, 3 decimal places, because you got 3 decimal places here. So this is where you put your dots, your decimal points. So the answer is 9.375. So this is one way of getting this answer solved. Okay, so the other way of doing it is by that one looks longer and it's more advanced. So you can do something like 6 to, that's coming from here, 625 times 625 over 1 times 1 over 100 times 15 over 1 times 1 over 10. What we just did is just to separate, we just did this to separate this, the denominator from the numerator, and to have it separate this from this also as well. Okay, so that we can solve the problem easier, in an easier way. So we can group numbers now. Remember grouping similar numbers. So you can have it 1 over 100 times 1 over 10. So all this over 1. So you notice that these ones, they look different, and these ones, they look different. Okay, remember brackets in board mass. This can be written in another way. 1 over 100 and 1 over 10 can be written in a simpler way. Remember the lesson about indices. If you have something like 100 is equal to 10 times 10. So it's like saying 10 to power 2. So so having 1 over 100 is similar to saying having 1 over 10 raised to power 2. Okay, if you invert this particular 1 over 10 raised to power 2, okay, if you invert it, that's turning it upside down, you get 10 raised to power minus 2. So this minus indicates that it's like a fraction, but it has been taken up to be a numerator. So we can now write this entire sentence or line as 6.625 times 15 times 10 raised to power minus 2 times 10 raised to power minus 1, because this is just 1. This 10 over 1, 1 over 10 is like 1 over, saying 1 over 10 raised to power 1, because 10 raised to power 1 is equal to 1, is equal to 10, sorry. Anything raised to power 1 is that same number. So if you invert it, you get 10 raised to power minus 1. Okay, so now remember the law of indices. By the time you do this, you solve this, remember, you get 9375. Then you now put your times, okay, 10 raised to power. Remember, law of indices says you see, once you have multiplication, you add up the powers, that's the indices, minus 2 plus minus 1. Okay, so now let's solve the powers, the index or the indices. Here you have minus 2 plus minus 1. So remember, this is a bracket, okay, to separate plus and minus. So to break this bracket now, you have to do plus times minus. Plus times minus gives you minus. Remember the previous lesson, plus times minus gives you minus. So you have minus 2 minus 1. Minus 2 minus 1 should give you minus 3. Okay, so to get this, you have to say 9375 times 10 raised to power minus 3. Okay, 10 raised to power minus 3. So to bring it, so you can actually leave it this as the answer if this is what is required, but to make it look like this, okay, you can now say 9375 times 1 over 10 raised to power 3, and not 10 raised to power minus 3, because this, putting this minus down, if you put this number, the entire number down, if you bring it down to look like a denominator, you now have to put 1 over the number 10 raised to power 3. So, and this is equal to saying 9375 over 1 times 1 over, okay, remember this, remember what we explained here. Okay, if you remember this, if we were to write, rewrite this, you can actually just count how many decimal places do we have. Okay, if you have the same way we did here, you can say 9375. How many decimal places? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we put our dots here. So answer is 9.375. If we can do it this way, that would be nice. But if we do 9375 over 1000, so you write the first 0 here under 5, second 0 under 7, third 0 under 3, then 1, remember, you put it in between 9 and 3. Okay, so that's another way to get to this answer. Okay, so automatically you have 9.375. okay, so that is all about the multiplication of decimal numbers. Okay, so we'll move on to addition of decimal numbers. Let's also just take example, the same example, 6 points, let's 1 plus, now this time not minus, plus 1.5. okay, so we'll just do basic addition. 6.15 plus, you make sure it is one whole number, okay, 5, then you can now add 0. Make sure the points align, make sure these points align, okay, make sure they align so that you'll be able to get the right answer. Make sure the whole numbers align too. So 5, 6.7. So this is the answer. Okay, so you don't do, it's not right to do 615 then, okay, this is not correct. Okay, this is not correct. So we'll move on to okay, you can have, let me give another example. Let's say you have 6.15 plus 0.05. okay, remember you have to align the decimal points. Okay, so you go and you write 6.01 6.15, align the dots. So this is how you solve this. So you get 5 plus 5 is 10. You write 0, carry 1. 1 plus 0 is 1, plus the 1 you carried gives you 2. Okay, so 6 plus 0 is 6. So this is how to do decimals, addition of decimals. So to we'll proceed to subtraction of decimals. So it's the same thing, the same arrangement. Okay, you do 0 minus 0.5. okay, it's basically the same as the way you do normal subtraction. So 5 minus 5 is 0, 1 minus 0, 1 point, 6 minus 0. So this is how you do it. This is addition, this is addition. Okay, so basically that is how to do multiplication, addition, subtraction of decimal points. Thank you so much.